This video has a twofold purpose, kind of. Really one purpose, but one specific and one general. When I was young, I had a lisp. It was called a lateral lisp. It's the one that everybody picks on when you see the kids on TV and you want to mock him. I used to speak like this all the time. It was difficult. You know, when you're a kid, you don't realize you're different at all until other kids point out to you and start picking on you. I remember one day in first grade, these bullies came and trapped me at the end of the porch at my Catholic school, St. Hedwig's Catholic School in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I remember the oldest bully. She was an 8th grader named Cheryl. I won't say her name out loud because I know she's still alive. And Cheryl and her 3 or 4 other friends got me on the top of the stairs all alone, and she said, come on, you gotta listen to her, All right, I want you to say, looking at me, I want a sauteed steak smothered in sizzling onions. I was like, no, I can't say, just please leave me alone, I just go away, just. And no matter what I said, it had an S in it, and I just cried, and I curled up in the fetal position, and I sobbed on that porch of that school. I cried so hard. I remember I walked home and I told my mom. Of course, my mom probably was devastated, but she didn't show her devastation. She was a good mom. She took me and she held me, and she said, oh, honey, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And she said, but if it ever happens again, make sure you tell Cheryl's friends that she still wets the bed. As a little girl, I felt a little bit empowered. But the better thing happened because of that is that I was sent to a speech pathologist. Now, my parents had no money, but I was so grateful because back then they had the speech pathologist come to the school, which in the 1970s didn't happen much, and it didn't certainly happen in the private schools. Now, if you're thinking my parents had money, it was back then we went because we used to give money to the basket, and Catholic education was free, so my parents didn't have to pay for the 4 children. What a blessing that was. So the speech pathologist, I'll never forget how hard we worked. I'll never forget the exercise, and I learned later what I had that lateral lisp is the hardest to fix. My own daughters were born saying things like Jessica or this is the way. Easy fix. I helped my daughters. It was easy for me to understand where the tongue was and help her speak properly. But I knew that the one that I had was very difficult because all the air is coming out of the sides of your cheek. And didn't know how, and that woman had to graciously guide me, teach me how to speak and get the air to come out the front of my mouth. I will tell you too, when you're trying to fix something, it might sound odd to you, but it's not easy to go, oh look, every now and then I go, oh, I said it right. You don't point that out because when you're learning to do something better, fix a flaw in yourself, you don't want to call attention to it. And I remember trying so hard to say my S's the right way. My mom said she noticed I was getting better, but she never pointed it out, thank God. And she did say, though, because she knew I could do it right, that I wouldn't make my first communion if I didn't practice my S's. And that scary motivation made me continue to practice when I may have quit, because it's so hard to do. I don't know how long I saw that speech pathologist. But the first point of this video is to say thank you first to her, whoever she is, whoever was at St. Hedwig's Catholic School in Milwaukee, Wisconsin back in, 1970, 71, 72. Thank you. Because here I am 50 years later, and I'm a speaker, and I'm also a singer. And I couldn't even imagine what it would have been like had I never fixed that lisp. Oh, say, can you see? It just wouldn't exactly be the same. But every chance I get, every speech pathologist that I find, I look at her, I grab her or him and I say, thank you. I said, you may not know how you changed the lives of people, but you changed my life. And I want to thank you for that child who may not ever be able to find you because I can't find that teacher. So she changed my life radically. I get paid to talk. I get paid to, well, I don't get paid to sing anymore. I sing. I perform. I do a podcast. I had a radio show. My life would be so different if I could have never made that lisp go away. It just doesn't sound professional. I praise God that you followed your vocation. And for that speech pathologist out there right now that is thinking, I don't make a difference, please, in God's name, understand just how valuable you are. Your job could be changing the life of a future president, a speaker, a singer, or just someone who may be suicidal if they get picked on one more time for speaking incorrectly. It's that big. The second part of this video is for each of you watching. You may not be a speech pathologist. You may not have ever needed a speech pathologist. But there is someone in your life who changed it. Some of you may have to think about it. For some of you, you may be right now going, I know who that person is. That person, just like someone who packs our groceries, a story I read once before, there's a young man who has Down syndrome, and he used to put a little note in each of the bag of groceries that and people would line up just to get in his line. He changed lives, and people with Down syndrome are being aborted at the highest rate of any other human. So to let that person know how much they changed your life. Who impacted your life? Please take this opportunity to thank that person if you can. And if you, like me, can't find them, don't know who they are, don't even know their name, you can thank them through a prayer. You can have a mass said for that person. You can say a rosary for that person. You can, for those of you that aren't Catholic, say, donate your whole day of prayers to that person. But just in case you don't have that person, I want to remind you that some of you are that person. Some of you right now have changed someone's life by something, seems like your day-to-day job. Do you make pipes? Do you build bridges? Just walked across the Golden Gate Bridge with my granddaughter on her vacation. And I think, what if those men who built that bridge didn't take it seriously? What if their job was just to make the steel, just to wrap the wire? That bridge has allowed millions of people to cross it because of something they did. If you don't have that person in your life, I want you to know that you actually are that person to somebody, somewhere, no matter what it is you do. Even if all you do is fold napkins or clean toilets. You are here for a reason. God made you for that specific reason, and it does not need to be grandiose. But like that speech pathologist, I don't know if she ever felt that she was valued or not. Just some kid learning how to say S's. We've all been created for a reason. You are all so valuable, invaluable, invaluable. You are loved, you are worthy, you make a difference. And know that if no one's ever told you that before, that there's a Christine Bacon out there somewhere wanting to tell you. So, I hope you enjoyed this message. Specifically you speech pathologists, but then all of you in general. Go out and thank those persons who've made a difference in your life. And for those of you that don't feel you've made a difference, go and thank God. Just ask Him for the grace and peace to know that you have. I love you. Hope to hear from you. Love to see your comments below on who you know it was that changed your life, even with such a small gesture. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. Thank you for watching another informational Bacon Bit. And I want to remind you, as always, to live your life sunny side up.